Imagine this. You've spent weeks coding a new feature and manually move it to production. Deploying by hand could result in unexpected failures. To deliver software quickly and reliably, we need a better approach, one that eliminates human error and speeds up the process. That's where continuous integration and continuous delivery (CI/CD) comes in. CI/CD automates building, testing, and deploying software, ensuring updates reach users smoothly. Think of it as a pipeline where code moves through automated checks, testing for errors, and preparing for deployment, making the process fast and dependable. In this video, I'll show you how to build a fully automated CI/CD pipeline using GitHub and AWS CodePipeline to deploy your applications smoothly. We'll cover everything from setting up your GitHub repository, integrating AWS services, running automated builds with AWS CodeBuild, and deploying updates to an S3 bucket. By the end of this tutorial, you will have a complete CI/CD setup that streamlines your workflow like a DevOps pro. If you're excited to learn, smash that like button, subscribe for more cloud and DevOps content, and let's get started. Here is the architecture we'll be building today. You as a developer, you'll push your code to the GitHub repository. The repository will store your application code. AWS CodePipeline will orchestrate the entire CI/CD process. AWS CodeBuild will compile and test the code. Then AWS CodeDeploy will automatically deploy the latest code updates. Then Amazon S3 will host your application and receive the latest code updates. Now let's jump into the setup. Now the first step, we are going to set up the React app. Now I've got a React app over here, and I'm going to run this one real quick. I'll run npm run dev. I will show you what it looks like right now. So now if I go to localhost, this is the React app. It's just a simple SaaS or software as a service landing page, but I'll show you how to deploy this using AWS CodeBuild to an S3 bucket. So anytime you push your code to your main branch, the pipeline will automatically build and deploy the updated app to S3. So I have my app committed to GitHub. You can use your own or follow along with mine. Feel free to have a copy of mine. You can just fork it or clone it. All right. Now let's go to the next step. Now the second step, we are going to create an S3 bucket for hosting. So here for the deploy provider, we are going to use Amazon S3. So we need to create one. So head over to the S3 service. Then here click on create bucket. Here name it something unique. I'll name it React App AWS CI/CD demo. You can name it whatever you want. Leave everything as default and then scroll down and click create bucket. Once the S3 bucket is created, here we have this empty S3 bucket. Just leave it for now. We'll come back for it later to finish up the setup. Now the third step, we're going to create the code pipeline. Go to the code pipeline. You can just search for it here. Now, essentially, this is an Amazon solution for continuous delivery, also known as CD. Here, we're going to click on Create Pipeline. And then here we have other options. I will click on Build Custom Pipeline. And this will take us to this page here. I'm going to call it AWS CodePipeline React App Demo. You can call it whatever you want, but I'm going to stick with my name here. And here we have a new role. This will be used in the new pipeline. Now I'm going to click next. And then for the source provider, I'm going to choose GitHub. And I'm going to connect to GitHub. It will open up a new tab. So here you will choose the repository you want to use as the source location for your pipeline. So this will connect to my code. Now I'm going to name it AWS CI/CD demo. Then click connect to GitHub. Then here we are going to install a new app. This will take me to my GitHub account. Here I'll select my GitHub repository, the one I'll be working with, this one here, SaaS landing page. And then hit save. Okay, now it's connected. Here you can choose again the repository, SaaS landing page, and then choose main as the default branch. So now that we've done that, let's click next. Step 4, we'll create a code build project. And here for the build provider, we're going to choose AWS CodeBuild because that's the one I chose to use for this video. Then here click create project. Now here let's set up the code build, which will handle building the React app. Here I'm just going to call this one AWS CodePipeline demo. You can call it whatever you want. And for the environment section here, I'm going to configure this specifically for the needs of my project. Here we have the provisioning model to on demand. For the environment image, we'll have managed image. Then for compute, we have EC2. Running mode, we have container. And here for the operating system, select Amazon Linux. You can also use Ubuntu. For the runtime, select standard. And here for the managed image, select AWS CodeBuild standard 5.0 or latest. Now, as of now, we're going to stick with this one, but just note that these settings are specifically for React or Node.js. So if yours are slightly different, then you might need to do something differently here. Now here for build specifications, choose use a build spec file. Now here we will create a file, and this file will store build commands in a YAML formatted build spec file. Okay? Because by default, CodeBuild looks for a file named buildspec.yaml in your source code root directory to run some commands. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll go to VS Code and open my React app. And here at the root, I'm going to create a new file. And I'm going to call this one buildspec.yaml. So this is a YAML file, and specifically we're going to be using this to work with AWS. So here we will write some commands. You can find most of this stuff in their documentations. I already have one, so I'm just gonna copy it. So basically, this file tells CodeBuild to install dependencies, build the app, and copy the contents of the build folder as artifacts. Okay, so here we have 0.2 as the latest supported version. And for phases, these are the steps CodeBuild goes through during the build process. Okay, we have install phase. This tells CodeBuild to use Node.js version 18 for the environment. We have echo install dependencies. Then we have npm CI to install dependencies based on the package JSON file. Then I will add this to handle some dependencies conflicts if I have them. And here we have the build phase. This is where the React app gets built. We have commands, echo building the React app, then npm run build. Now the npm run build, this is going to run the build script defined in your package JSON file. So for React apps, this usually creates a build or a dist folder. Okay, then here we have the artifacts. This defines the output directory that will be saved after the build process. And here artifacts are usually deployed to S3. Okay, then here we have the base directory to dist. So this tells CodeBuild to look for a dist directory as the base path for artifacts. So make sure your React app output is dist, not build, or change this accordingly. Okay, so this is the configuration file that CodeBuild is going to use. I'm going to commit this to GitHub. I'll run this command, git add, then git commit. Then I'll write added buildspec.yaml for AWS CodePipeline. Then I'll push my code, get push. Now back to the code build project, keep the rest as default and then choose continue to code pipeline. And here it's going to close itself. Then back here, the code build project will be created and added to the build stage as shown here. Successfully created our app in code build. Then choose next. And for the deploy provider, we are going to be deploying to S3. You can also use something like Elastic Beanstalk or CloudFormation or EC2. Now, the reason we are going to deploy to S3 is because I have a React app and I'm going to just directly build it using CodeBuild. And then the final dist or build files, which contains my app, we're going to put it directly into S3. Now here I'm going to select the S3 bucket. Remember the one that we created. And for the S3 object key, this one here, this basically means that once you deploy, by default, CodeBuild will produce a zip file, and this zip file will be sent to Amazon S3. Now over here in my case, I actually don't want a zip file. I want it to be extracted at the root, so we don't need to specify a deployment path because we're going to extract it at the root of the S3 bucket so that we can see it directly. So I'll choose extract file before deploy. Now that we've done that, Let's click next. Here, review all the configuration, scroll down and click create pipeline. So once the pipeline is successfully created, you will see it go through the source, build, and deploy stages. So this is something cool. I really love using CodePipeline simply because how automated it is. So here you can see the build stage is currently running. Here we can have a look at it ourselves. And here you will notice it says installing Node.js 18. It's installing this and this one here. Now it's building, it's in the final stage. And here we have completed the build process. You'll notice that the build has succeeded and the deploy now has just also succeeded. So if you go over here into S3, okay, here I have the S3 bucket. I'll refresh this page. What will have been an empty S3 bucket, now you see we have this asset folder, the favicon icon, the images folder, and the index.html file. So now that we have this, let's make this S3 bucket public. So click on properties, then scroll down to static website hosting, then click here edit. So here, make sure you enable static website hosting. I'll check enable. And all we have to do is to just specify index.html for the index document. And click save. Next, we're going to edit some permissions. Go to permissions. Then we're going to uncheck this so we can have public access. And just type confirm here. Then we will add a bucket policy to allow public read access inside our S3 bucket. All right. So here is a sample policy you can use. So here we have an Amazon S3 bucket policy that grant read-only access to all objects inside a specific S3 bucket. Okay, this is often used to make the bucket's contents publicly accessible. So here, make sure you replace your bucket name with your actual bucket name. Mine is React App AWS CI/CD demo, and I'll provide the link in the description below where you'll find all this code I'm using. I'll link the JSON file as well as the build spec YAML file. In step 5, let's test the pipeline. So now that we've done that, let's go back and click on objects, and we can click on index.html. It will give us an object URL. This is a public URL. And if you click on it, you will notice it shows our React app running on Amazon S3. This is super cool. So now I'm going to show you something cool. Now we are going to test together the whole pipeline. Okay, let's say you are a developer working at Zora company and you've built this app in a team together with other developers, and you are in a meeting with the finance department and you're discussing to give a discount on the annual pricing plan, and you've been told to change the price on the website. So over here we have this 3 premium plan. So your task is to change this price of the most popular plan from 59, let's say, to 49. So a discount of $10, okay? So I'll go to my React app and make this small change. Now here I'll look for the pricing plan. All right, this one here, and I'll change this from 59 to 49. All right, now it's done. Now I'm going to push this change to GitHub, git add, then git commit. I'll write price discount, and then git push. Now let's see the magic happen. As soon as the code is pushed, the pipeline is triggered. You will see it run through the source, all right, then the build and deploy stage. Now it's going through the stage. The source stage is done. Now it's on the build stage. Now this is cool. It's fully automated. It's great to see the code deploying itself. Let me fast forward to see the whole process finish. Now the deploy stage is finished. So now I can go straight back to the website. Let me go to the annual pricing plan. And here we have the discount of $10. It was $59 and now it's $49. Amazing. And that's it. You've built a fully CI/CD pipeline using AWS CodeBuild, Code Deploy, and S3 to deploy a React app straight from GitHub. This setup is scalable, serverless, and perfect for modern front-end development workflows. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and let me know in the comment section what you want to see next. Maybe deploying this architecture with CloudFront or adding GitHub Actions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.